So hello there everybody and welcome back to the channel here for a video in which, well, we're going to be attempting something a little bit different. And believe it or not, if you guys are fairly recent viewers of the channel, you guys may actually be watching a video of mine in this style for the very first time. But today I'm bringing back, as more of a one-off type thing, the Unpopular Opinions series here on the channel. So how this has been laid out this specific time is, I actually made a tweet on Twitter asking for some of the Ninjago community's opinions, their unpopular opinions on the Ninjago Dragons Rising, of course, Season 1 as of now. So yeah, I got a lot of responses. For the sake of today's video and for the sake of, not boring you guys to death with everything, I have squashed things down and I'm going to be going through picking out, I don't know really, I don't have a specific number, but I'm going to be picking out an assortment of different unpopular opinions from the replies. And yeah, I'm going to go along with them and I'm going to share them with all of you and maybe even throw in my own personal opinions on some of them. So here we go, starting right from the top here with the very first one I see. We have Rapton's voice sucks. A lot of people would definitely disagree with that, me personally. The only thing I'd say about Rapton's voice is, obviously, it is the same guy that voiced Kalmar in Seabound, fun fact, in case you guys weren't already aware. And I would say that the voices, I suppose, a little bit are a tad similar, but other than that, that's not the fault of anybody, really. It's just, the voices are just a bit too similar. But at the end of the day, it's the literal same guy, so that's obviously going to be expected. So, yeah. Next up, we've got one here that says, Jay and Cole not being in the finale is good, and if they were in the final conflict, it would feel very off. I've got to come in here and just say that I completely agree with this one as well. Personally, well, I may actually make a whole different video on Cole too, but Jay and Cole, right, not being in the finale and just not being in the season much at all is definitely a good thing in my opinion. Jay, I'm very glad he's still very much in the dark. We don't really know anything about him. Cole, his story has kind of been wrapped up in regards to, like, where he's been since the merge, but there's still so much interesting stuff going on with Cole, I think. And I think Cole may be the one to discover a lot of the secrets behind the merge. Who knows, that's just a huge theory on my end, but, yeah, definitely agree with that one there, personally. Somebody here has a bit of a long one, but here we go. So they say, quote, the fight choreography downgraded and is now back to Will Film's level of fight choreography. And they took the worst animation aspects of Spinjitzu from Will Film and Wild Brain and combined it into the Spinjitzu vortex we see now. You see, this one I personally don't agree to, like, overall. I'd say that the choreography, yeah, sure, it wasn't the best. It wasn't like season 13 level by any means, but it was solid, and I definitely wouldn't say it was as bad as Will Films. And when it comes to Spinjitzu, ultimately, it's never bothered me personally too much. Like, I don't really sit down and watch these episodes and I'm like, oh, damn, that looks terrible. But I do see where they're coming from, so fair enough to them for sharing this unpopular opinion. But personally, just speaking from my heart here, I don't think that the Spinjitzu looks too terrible. But, yeah, that's really all I've got to say. Somebody here says, it's weird even for Ninjago, and to be honest, I don't really care much about it. Fair enough, I suppose. Personally, I love it. I love the weird part of it. But I'm just so glad that they're shaking things up this time around, and they're just making things so much different. Just to kind of serve as a complete parallel to that last one, somebody here says, it's actually peak, close to being my favourite season of anything Ninjago. Oh boy, I've got to come along in here and sneak in my opinion and just say that, yeah, I share a lot of the same opinions, and I don't even think it's just like the initial hype after just watching the season for the first time. Seriously, this season has been absolutely incredible. Someone here says, Part 1 of Dragons Rising was mostly boring and made Imperium seem weak. The humour was too exaggerated for me, e.g. the mask-washing joke in episode 2, and Lloyd's overly strong motivation is unrealistic for someone who lost everyone. Part 2 is mostly mid and only the finale is great, so fair enough, there's not really much I can say. Obviously, I disagree with Part 1, and the thoughts that they share on Part 1, I personally loved it. The humour, again, fair enough, I'm not going to sit here and try and change your mind, that's not what I'm doing in today's video. More so just kind of like giving people a bit of a platform indirectly here and sharing. But yeah, that's fair enough if the jokes weren't your thing. But when it comes to Lloyd, I personally really like that about him, that he's able to find something positive in a seemingly completely negative situation. I think that's great, and he's definitely actually in character for Lloyd. I wouldn't say it's unrealistic either. It really just depends on the mindset, ultimately. And I think Lloyd has a very good mindset, and I think that's kind of awesome to see presented to us in Ninjago. Somebody here says that the finale isn't perfect, and this is one that pops up a lot in my replies on Twitter here. A lot of people don't seem to like the finale, but ultimately I disagree with that. I like how open-ended it is, just because of the fact that it's open-ended. It leaves so much up to debate for the future of Ninjago Dragons Rising, and with the way things have been going, I think a lot of it is definitely going to be answered in the future. I'm going to share just a few more now, maybe 2 or 3, so I'm just going to scroll through. Somebody here says, Beatrix is one of the most unique and best villains in the franchise. Again, honestly, I think I may end up making a different video on this at some point in the future. Not planned for, like, the very near future, but just at some point, because honestly, yeah, Beatrix has been so awesome. And lastly here, maybe not lastly, actually, we'll see. But somebody here says, the Source Dragons have the potential to be the worst retcon in Ninjago history. It's already starting to look like a pretty bad one. Ultimately, Ninjago with Source Dragons really aren't a retcon, so I don't fully understand that, but I mean, hey, fair enough. And somebody here, lastly, for real this time, says that the pacing is really bad, and the dialogue is very exposition heavy. All in all, though, Dreams is way better in their opinion, because they don't have these issues and actually help out with part 2, right? The part 2 actually betters the season, while Ninjago stayed on the same level. So fair enough, and gotta love the Dreams positivity there, because I'm also a huge Dreams fan. But yeah, fair enough for sure. But with all of this being said, guys, that is just about going to conclude things here. Just sharing some of the Ninjago community's unpopular opinions when it comes to Dragons Rising. Of course, do not spread any hate to any of these people. These are unpopular opinions, and I think it's awesome, right, that everybody has a different opinion. At least everyone doesn't think the same, because things would be pretty boring if that were the case. Oh, and also, guys, bit of a shameless plug, but seriously here, if you guys are interested in seeing all of the unpopular opinions beneath my tweet, head over to my Twitter, Overlord X Official, and yeah, you guys can go and check them out. But with all of this being said, that's going to conclude things here. Feel free to leave any of your own thoughts on all of this down below in the comment section. Feel free to share any of your own unpopular opinions on this down below in the comments too. I'd love to hear them. As always, though, if you did end up enjoying this one here, please do go ahead and leave a like on it, subscribe to the channel for more, and while you guys are down there, hit that notification bell so that you can keep up to date on all things Ninjago here on the channel. And with all of this being said, guys, I will catch you all very soon for a new one. Goodbye, everybody. See you all soon. Goodbye.